Welcome to our 100th Haunting Live episode. This being our milestone show, we've changed a few things, so hit the like button and help our channel grow. This episode, we welcome guest psychic medium Scott Allan to the show to talk about his past working at a funeral home and what got him into the mediumship field. Catch part 2 of this episode in the description below. Visit our sponsor, the most gifted psychics. Call 866-228-2883 and mention code word HauntingLive to receive 10 minutes for just $10. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Thank you, Scott, for being here. I appreciate you taking your time and helping us out here on this episode of Haunting Live. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Trevor. It's an honor. I appreciate it.
Yes, tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, can you introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure thing. So my name is Scott Allan. I am a medium. I'm also a paranormal investigator. The investigative part of it came first, and for almost 40 years I was a licensed funeral director and embalmer. So it kind of one thing led to another thing, and here we are today. But that's the story that we'll share a little bit, how it all kind of tied in together.
Well, that's really cool. I kind of have a fascination with the funeral home kind of stuff. So that's really cool.
It draws attention.
It does. So basically, though, the first question I have for you is, how did you get into the mediumship field? What drew you into it?
Well, as I said, I was a funeral director for many years. The funeral home was haunted, and it was interesting because it was haunted from... there was a house there 100 years, previously, and we built this location from the ground up back in 1998, and we started noticing that there were footsteps and things were happening in the house, and we knew it was haunted, but you couldn't really do anything about it because, we didn't investigate back then, and as a funeral director, you really kind of not what you do. Once I decided that I wanted to get out of the funeral business, I was just totally burnt out. I wanted to pursue the ghost hunting part of it because that really is what sort of piqued my interest. As far as the mediumship, I think there was stuff there all along, but I pushed it aside. It really wasn't anything that I had a grip on. It was just buried, and I wasn't really sure what it was. I never thought I was a medium at all. So when it came to me, it was kind of a big surprise, but it was almost as if, okay, it's time, and then the spirit started hammering me, and it was relentless to the point that it was actually frightening. So I was home one day, and one of my coworkers was at work, and this guy walks in the front door and asks for me, and she said, "I'm sorry, he doesn't work on Friday nights." And he said, "Okay, can you tell him David stopped by?" And that was the extent of it. She texted me, and I didn't know a David. I still don't know a David. I mean, I'm sure I've known someone, but no one that would come in and ask for me by name. I went on the security cameras and I looked, and sure enough, there he was. And he was very real, as far as I can tell. He came in, he spoke, he walked out, and I never heard from him again. He never called, never came back. It was just it was just kind of a strange thing. It bothered me a little bit that I didn't know who this guy was. And I wasn't thinking paranormal. I was just thinking, who is this guy, and why am I expected to know him, and I don't? So about a week later, I was going on an investigation with my team. I had already joined a paranormal group at that time. And I had built my own portal, the guitar amp with the reverb and the noise gate and that kind of thing. And I wanted to try it out. I was going to take it on the investigation. So I was at home, and, they say don't ever do this stuff at home. But, of course, I turned it on because I had put the final piece on, that little piece of copper wire. I wanted to see if it all kind of went together. And I turned it on, and it was almost immediate. It said, "I want to talk to Scott." And I said, "This is Scott. Who's this?" "This is David." And then from that point on, it was relentless. David would come through every time I turned on a radio or a spirit portal. You could hear the names David coming through every time you'd scan a channel. Women, I had women come through the spirit box saying, "Scott, David's back." I mean, it was relentless. And then we were at a class at a home in central Massachusetts that is haunted. We weren't there for an investigation or anything. And I started to sense spirit in a way that I never had before. I saw physically it come across the ceiling and disappear over the chandelier. And I could feel it. I could feel it moving around me. And I pulled out my voice recorder and I said, "Did we just see you?" And it said, "Yes." That night, friends of mine were in Rhode Island and they were on an investigation and they were running their spirit portal. And they went live on Facebook with it. So I was watching and it came through the spirit portal. "Where's Scott?" And they said, "Scott's not here tonight. Who's this?" "This is David." So David has been coming through since the very beginning. And in fact, I was on an investigation last night. I told you I was going on this investigation, and David came through. He is with me all the time, all the time. Doesn't matter where I am. I've come to learn he's more than likely my spirit guide. He's with me everywhere I go. But that's how the mediumship came about. I thought I was losing my mind, so I called this woman that I know who's a medium, and she's the one that sort of revealed this to me. We were talking and we ended up on the phone for a good 3 or 4 hours one night, and she was validating the things that I was saying, and she's the one that told me, and I completely did not believe her. I said, "There is no way that's what's going on. It just isn't." And I spent 35 to 40 years working around dead people. Not one of them spoke to me, not one. How is this possible that it happens at this stage of my life? And I've come to realize that it was probably there, but not to this extent. And it's just it was relentless, just relentless. And now that I've learned to control it, it's a lot more manageable. It's not with me all the time. I can call it when I need it, but it's not there, touching my head and sitting on my shoulders and in my personal space, which is what it was at first. So that's how that came about. It was kind of creepy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, you don't want those dead bodies in the funeral home starting to talk to you because that's not
No,
the
you
way you want to
don't.
be
No, you
introduced to
don't.
that.
I think that sort of is why it didn't happen then. I needed to be gone. I needed to be out of there before it happened because it would have been crazy, I think.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could handle that if that happened during
No,
your
I
work
think it
hours like
would.
that.
It would have been awful. Would have been awful for
So yeah,
sure.
from the sounds of things, it sounds like David is your spirit guide and it guided you on your path for your mediumship journey. So how did things go from there? Was it hard to get into mediumship, or did you have a hard time learning it, or was it easy for you to get
Well,
learning how
I
to
mean,
use
I
it?
have studied it. I have studied it. I studied it through the Arthur Findlay College in London. I've studied it through psychic medium John Holland, Joe Shield, different programs that I've taken. But what happened next was that one of the women that worked with me, I was practicing on her, and she said, "Well, let me get my friend, or let me get my cousin, or let me get this person or that person," and they started coming to me, and I realized that what I was getting was pertaining to the person that was sitting in front of me. I remember one day this person came in and I started feeling like this mouth pain. And as I got closer to her, it got worse. As I pulled away, it got a little better. And it clicked. And I said, "Hey, do you have to go to the dentist? I mean, are you having some kind of issues with your mouth?" "Oh my God, my wisdom teeth are impacted and they're swollen and it's just, I'm in a lot of agony." Okay, that's it. Once we got it, it went away and that was it. So you start recognizing the signs, and that doesn't happen to me all the time. It happens occasionally. You just have to recognize how it comes to you, and usually it's like a flash of something. It's like a flash, whether it's a voice or a thought or an image that comes to you, because they give you image too. You have this library of images that they show to you, but it's a lot more subtle and subjective than I thought it was. Like years ago, if I thought of a medium, I thought they just looked out and saw dead people standing everywhere, and it's really not. it's not that way. At least it's not that way for me. I think for most people, it's not that way. Are you a medium? You're not a medium, are you? Are you a medium?
Like you just said, I'm a medium in my own way. I don't practice it fully, so I'm
Okay.
not like I don't
Yeah.
see clients and stuff like that, obviously. But
Yeah.
I've had my own experiences with it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like
You know,
I've
once
seen
that.
full body apparitions. I hear
Yeah.
them mostly, so I think I'm mostly clairaudience. So
Hmm.
it's rare that I see them, and when I see them, I know I see them. But
Right. Right. Right.
it's not like on and off for me. So yeah.
Yeah, once I started doing it, I just did it more and more, and then I went and did some stage shows. I was in Scotland over the summer, and I had an event there at a castle in Scotland, and just it's just started to kind of snowball like that. And I met this actress. She is on. She's done several movies and shows, but her claim to fame is that she was this infomercial host on QVC and Home Shopping Network. She sold like billions of dollars on there. And I had a chance to meet her, and she has this weekly show. It's more of like what we're doing here, but it's live and it's broadcast all over the place. I met her and she wanted me to come on to this group that she has, and then she invited me onto her show, and I was able to read her there. And then from that moment on, I started getting readings from people in Hawaii and Canada and United Kingdom and wherever. So it's been kind of a little bit of a ride, and not at all expected. Like, I never would have thought this a few years ago. Never in a million years.
So was it something that you wanted to go into full time then, or was that not till after this happened?
Well, I still don't do it full time, and it'd be great if I could do it full time, but I'm not there. I'm not there right now. I do readings, but I'm not ready to give up my day job, pretty much. You know, so I think we're just going to follow the road and see what opens up. I haven't had to work very hard for this. Everything's sort of laid out in front of me, so to speak. It just presented itself, and it just happened. You know, Meeting the actress and getting the deal in Scotland and all of this stuff just landed in my lap, and so I've been very grateful in that way.
Definitely sounds like your spirit guides were helping you out all along, like pushing you down the right path way back when. So
Yeah, I think when it was time to acknowledge this, they came on with a passion. I mean, it was like I said, it was relentless, and it was not at all what I expected. And so when I just said, okay, whatever, whatever you want, here I am. It just started happening and unfolding for me, which is amazing. I think, and I don't know if you deal with this at all, but I think some of it is you deal with some confidence issues with it, and I've struggled with that. You know, because it's always, am I getting something from my head, or am I getting something for that person? I've learned to trust it, but it takes some time when you get a no. No, I don't understand that. It's okay. You might just take it with you, and I think you'll figure it out, because I'm trusting now that what I get is from the other side. It's real. And I used to take it upon myself. I think, oh, maybe I'm not doing this right. So the whole confidence thing is it can be a challenge.
Miss one of our episodes? Replay our episodes on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Wednesdays at 10 p.m. EST. Show your support for Haunting Live by supporting our broadcast partner, Rhode Island Broadcasting. Find them on YouTube. The paranormal can happen at any time, so that's why our Etsy store is always open. Get your paranormal items from cleansing to protection to attraction, all available now on our Etsy store. Search Haunting Live.